Afu, can you hear me? Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3, 4. The sergeant's office is at the end of the corridor. Be careful. You did not sleep well last night. More than not sleeping well, I didn't sleep at all. Was it because of the shooting case? Sergeant Singh personally led the team, arresting people and interrogating. No one was allowed to leave the police station. Take a nap then, I'll go patrol. The policeman is asleep. I need to be quiet so as not to wake him. We need to go slowly to pass by safely. I'm so glad the game told me that again because I've never walked. What to do next? Okay. We'll hide. Surely you'll find another place to hide. You can still definitely hear our footsteps. You want some water? Or something? Maybe. Oh, he turned around. I did not expect him to turn around then. There. We can skip the stealth section, but... Oh, he just didn't even see us. But he did turn around. Interesting. We can go that way. Get water. Oh, water appeared. I thought I'd finished drinking it. I want to keep an eye on you. We'll go to the first floor. Yeah, you can't see us at all. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it at all. He just didn't see us opening the door at all. No. Don't worry. Yeah, finally here. Next we need to find a paper with Shen's fingerprints. There's a sculpture of an elephant on the table, looking silly. A curved dagger with an exotic design. Its handle looks like it's made of ivory. The handle is carved with patterns and writings that I can't understand. Some blank notebooks. Let me flip through and see if there's Shen's signature. None. Evidence box. Inside are Shen's hat, coat, and some personal belongings. There's also a photo frame. It's a group photo of Brian and Stone Wu. Do you call a photo with two people a group photo? That's strange. I didn't know Shen had this photo. I guess it must have been given to him by Stone Wu. There's another piece of paper tucked inside the photo frame. It's a note. H2O 1000, CO2 100. It looks like some kind of formula. Maybe for some cola? Afu, have you reached the sergeant's office? Please respond if received. Please respond if received. And what about the paper with fingerprints? Have you found it? I need to go and find the things Koshin mentioned. I'll record the contents of this paper for now and study it later. A tapestry full of exoticisms with vibrant colors. There's a file on the desk. It's the autopsy report of Stone Wu. Based on the body, the time of death could be between 8 PM and 10 PM. The victim had a 2.5 cm diameter puncture wound on the left chest. The bullet passed through the victim's body, causing multiple organ injuries and severe bleeding. This is also the case at the cause of death. The clothing near the victim's chest wound had scorch marks and the skin was partially burned. It is highly likely that the shooting was done at close range. The victim also has a head injury, indicating that he suffered a blow from a blunt object. Additionally, there are marks of being bound with ropes on the victim's wrists and ankles. Interesting. The file cabinet is labeled Seized Evidence. Let me see what's inside. Exploring methods for extracting brucine from Nux vomica. This is an English paper written by Stone Wu. Huh? This note next to it is Lyceum Theatre 212. What does 212 represent? It's the number of the locker. Afu, did you find the paper with the fingerprints? Forget it. Leave right now. Sergeant Singh has returned. Emergency. Out the window. No, he's just running right back here. Does he think that by solving a few cases he can look down upon us? We need to do something to make him cooperate. Make him understand that in this police station, who's the boss? Evidences are quite comprehensive. The significance of a confession is limited. Let's leave it to the court. I'm asking, are you protecting him? I never show mercy to criminals. Afu, can you hear me? Sergeant Singh has returned to the police station. Leave. Who is it? A few minutes later. Koshin, why did you have to speak at that moment? It's my fault for not improving the phonograph broadcasting machine. Now, without the fingerprints, I won't be able to help Shen. Afu, is that you? This voice, am I hallucinating? I thought I was hallucinating. Shen, what are you doing here? The one who should be asking that question is me. Afu explained his own experiences to Shen Chongping. And then he called me and confiscated my phonograph broadcasting machine. You are really reckless, even daring to sneak into the police station. I didn't want you to get involved in this, as I didn't want you to take any risks. But it seems like it backfired. I can't just stand idly by and watch you being framed. This case is complicated and dangerous, and I may not come out unscathed. You need help. I have to do all I can. You are trapped in the prison and you cannot even do any investigation, and now so are you. Aren't you also trapped in a prison cell? Afu, I know you're worried about me, but I would rather see you safe. Since we can't leave anyway, why don't you tell me about that evening? Didn't Stone Wu arrange to meet you at his store? Why did you go to the theater? You don't have to fish for answers from me. I think I might have an answer to this question. You went to the theater because someone left a note for you, right? It seems like I was right. Shen, the person who led you to the store and the theater was clearly setting you up. But we don't even know who the opponent is. They seem to know our every move. I'm well aware of what evidence the police possess. If I were the prosecutor in this case, I would inevitably suspect myself as the culprit. Shen, guess who I encountered at the Lyceum Theatre today? Who? It's Yinchu. She has become a well-known magician. And then I remembered our first meeting on the ship. I was standing at the crime scene with blood on my hands, unable to utter a word of defense. At first, everyone believed that I was the murderer, and later suspicions turned to Yinchu. But you, through meticulous reasoning, reconstructed the truth, clearing us of suspicion. If it weren't for your persistence, both Yinchu and I would not have the lives we have now. This time, with you being wrongly accused, I cannot simply stand by and do nothing. Shen, let me be your defense counsel. Alright, Afu. I agree to let you be my defense counsel. That's great, you agreed. Can I ask you some questions? Sure, but I'm not sure if I can provide the answers. Did you encounter Stone Wu in the study of the foreign goods store? I didn't see anyone, to be honest. I was waiting for Stone Wu in the study, but he never showed up. By chance, I found a document on the desk. The document had the same note you mentioned attached to it. So, you went to the theatre? Yes, I think so. I heard a noise. It sounded like a bell, and then I went straight to the theatre. Can I, Shen, what happened at the theatre? At that time, I was thinking about my brother's case. I don't remember the details. Shen looks burdened with something. It seems he found something else at the foreign goods store. Can't tell me for now. Should I ask him? Shen, how about I share the results of my investigation with you? Okay. A few hours later. Koshin, you were also caught? What are you thinking? I came to get you out. Afu, you have been released on bail. Thank you, Officer Wu, and thank you, Koshin. Afu, please don't thank me. I didn't do anything. Mr. Shen, about the defense, what do you think? I have written a letter of authorization and handed it to the jailer. But this case is full of difficulties. Shen, please rest assured. No matter what difficulties we face, we can overcome them. Indeed, having such determination is crucial, especially when the adversary in court is Joseph. Joseph? You mean we have to argue against Mr. Joseph? Yes. Don't worry, Afu. It's Mr. Joseph who helped us a lot in getting you released on bail this time. Moreover, I heard that he is Mr. Shen's mentor. He should show some mercy during the trial, right? You haven't seen Joseph in the courtroom. He will never show any mercy. That doesn't matter. After all, the truth is on our side. As long as we are well prepared, I don't believe we will lose. We don't have much time left for preparation. The first trial will take place tomorrow. Tomorrow? Based on the mixed court rules, the trial begins once the prosecutor deems the evidence conclusive. The mixed court follows a one-trial-only system, which means you only have one chance. But we don't have any evidence. Afu, let's hurry and prepare. I have not told you about the biggest challenge yet. The second day, Shanghai International Settlements Mixed Court. There's an Austrian flag. Let's go. Koshin, everyone is here. Why hasn't the presiding judge announced the start of the trial? Could he be Asleep? He's waiting for the observer to arrive. The observer? The judges at mixed court cannot try cases alone. There must be an observer present. The observer for this case is named Herman, whose Jardine family is one of the 4 in the Far East. Kosin seems to have completely entered the state. Kosin, you're so impressed. Don't talk, I'm nervous. Silence. To uphold justice before the throne of the king. This mixed court hereby enjoys the authority to hear, judge, and detain. All relevant parties please appear in court. The court begins the trial of Shen Zhongping, accused of shooting and murdering Stone Wu. The presiding judge in this case will be Quan Chiong, governor of Shanghai. I, Herman Jardine, the Deputy Consul General of the British Consulate, will be the trial observer. Now let's confirm the identities of the prosecution and defense. Is the prosecutor Joseph Bell, Chief Prosecutor of Shanghai International Settlement, present? The prosecutor is present in the court. Mr. Joseph is dressed very formally. Is the defendant Shen Zhongping and his defense counsel present in the court? The defendant is present in the court. Shen doesn't look well. Could it be that he still hasn't eaten anything? Defense counsel. The atmosphere in the courtroom is so suffocating. It's frozen. Has the defendant appointed a defense counsel? That's strange. Why isn't the defense counsel speaking? Defense counsel Xu Fuxing and Wen Kuxing are present in the court. I almost forgot that I am the defense counsel myself. Afu, focus. The formal trial is about to begin. Afu, don't be nervous. The trial will be over soon. Thank you, Mr. Joseph. But is it good to comfort me at a time like this? This is not comforting at all. It's a threat. This case occurred in the international settlement, but both the victim and the suspect are Chinese. According to the regulations on the mixed court, it should be handled by Shanghai officials. Not at all, Judge Herman. With you taking charge, I'm here mainly as a formality. Judge Quan, the British Empire emphasizes procedural justice. We hope King officials can do so. I'll have to do work, goddammit. And let's proceed to the trial. First, I need to conduct a court investigation. Judge Herman, if I'm not mistaken, have I followed the correct procedure? Shen Zhongping, you're accused of murdering Stone Wu on the evening of September 14th at Stone's store. What do you have to say in response? You plead guilty? I didn't kill anyone. I plead not guilty. Not guilty, huh? What's next then? Afu, it seems that Judge Quan is just as confused as you are. Since the defendant claims innocence regarding the charges, Mr. Joseph will now make the prosecution's statement. Judge Quan, please judge after hearing the statement and determine whether he is guilty or not. Of course. Your Honours, the details of this case are very clear. This case occurred 3 days ago in the evening. The victim is Stone Wu, the owner of Stone Foreign Goods Store. According to the investigation, the defendant entered the victim's store at 7:50 that evening. Inside the study of the store, he first struck the victim's head with a blunt object. After the victim fell to the ground, he shot and killed the victim with a pistol. The above statements are supported by evidence and witnesses. So, Mr. Joseph, please present the evidence. This is the autopsy report issued by the police coroner. It is evidence that the victim died due to a bullet penetrating the left chest. This is the pistol seized during the arrest of the defendant. The pistol has only the fingerprints of the defendant. It turns out the murder weapon is the famous 2 horses. This is the bullet found at the crime scene. The wounds on the victim's body were indeed caused by a bullet of the same caliber. How can we be sure that this bullet was fired from the seized pistol? The rifling marks on the bullet match those in the barrel of this pistol. Rifling marks? I heard this is the latest investigative technique. I didn't expect Mr. Joseph to be using it. Afu, why don't you introduce it to everyone? The rifling marks on a gun are like fingerprints. Each gun is unique. Similarly, the markings left by a bullet passing through the barrel will also have differences. These differences may not be visible to the naked eye, but are evident under a microscope. In a word, rifling marks can determine the correspondence between a bullet and a firearm. Your Honours, the defense counsel's explanation was very comprehensive. And the result of the rifling marks comparison is definite. The gun was fired by the defendant. Koshin, maybe I shouldn't have explained. Alright, if you didn't say it, he would have said it himself. But now we are in a defensive position. We need to refute something. Refute what? Anything will do. Otherwise, that confused judge will issue a verdict directly. Let me think. I mean, 1 and 2 are both kind of true. Does the defense counsel have anything to say regarding the charges? Well, Shen, Mr. Shen, Mr. Shen is a detective. He would never commit murder. If his fingerprints are on the gun, it must have been planted on him. Say someone framed and set him up. Do you have any evidence? I'm Mr. Shen's assistant. We've worked together for many years. I've never seen him with a gun. On the night of the case, he went to the appointment empty-handed. Mr. Xu, your current role is the defense counsel. We cannot accept your testimony. This gun was owned by the victim. This gun was kept in a drawer in his study. In other words, the defendant found the gun at the crime scene and used it to commit the murder. The murder occurred between 8 to 8:30 p.m. During 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. only the accused was seen at the scene. Therefore, no matter how you look at it, the murderer can only be the defendant. Are you certain that only Shen entered the scene? There are witnesses who can testify to that. What if the murderer had already been at the scene before then? The facts of this case sound relatively clear. Does anyone have any doubts? The prosecution has no objections. If not, we'll proceed to the sentencing phase. It is up to Judge Kwan to decide. Is it really going to end like this? Wait a minute. Defense counsel requests to cross-examine the evidence presented by the prosecutor. Cross-examine necessary? The defense counsel believes it is necessary. Judge Herman just mentioned the importance of procedural justice. The defendant must have the chance to challenge and refute evidence detrimental to their case. Well, what do you think, Judge Herman? Your Honors, I agree to the cross-examination. Let's begin. Koshin, have you found any doubts? Not yet. Well, what should we do then? Try to find any minor inconsistencies and prolong the trial. This is the final verdict that will determine Mr. Shen's fate. Until the last moment when all options are exhausted, we cannot give up. Inquiry. Shot and killed in this... Well, any minor inconsistencies. I know a minor inconsistency. The autopsy states 8 to 10. Although we presented the evidence, but... Koshin, can we really do this? Yes, we can. We may not have all the details, but we can still create a strong presence. Defense counsel, why are you presenting this autopsy report? Because the descriptions here are inconsistent. What exactly is inconsistent? After all, the information states the time of death is 8 to 10 p.m. But Mr. Joseph mentioned 8 to 8:30 p.m. Indeed, it is inconsistent. Huh? Oh, it was actually accepted. Well done, Afu. Prosecutor, please explain this issue. The victim died immediately after being shot. And the reason why we estimated a shortened time of death is that after the defendant was arrested around 8:30 p.m, the pistol was also confiscated by the police. A confiscated weapon cannot be used for murder. The prosecutor's inference is reasonable. I object. The defendant entered the scene at around 8 p.m. At that time, there was no one inside the foreign goods store. Defendant, is this the situation at that time? She is right. The prosecutor just stated only the defendant was present at the scene between 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. The prosecutor also stated that the murder occurred between 8 to 8:30 p.m. Considering that the foreign goods store only has one entrance, the witness couldn't have only seen the defendant entering the foreign goods store. But then, who else should the witness have seen? Stone Wu, of course. Are you saying the victim? That's right. Mr. Shen went to the store for an appointment that night, but the victim was not in the store. If the witness that prosecutor mentioned has been around the scene all along, and Stone Wu was confirmed to be killed between 8 and 8:30, the witness should have seen Stone Wu entering the foreign goods store. I object. The counsel's inference is based on the defendant's unilateral statement, and it's questionable. Yeah, that is the one part I was already thinking while she said that. Rather than saying the witness was mistaken, it is more likely the defendant is lying. I object too. The prosecutor's witness testimony is also unilateral. What's the difference between them? Can the defendant's claims have the same weight as the witness's testimony? The defendant even claims he did not commit the murder. Should the court simply believe that? But... who can guarantee that the witness won't lie, or that she won't omit something? Oh, well, the defendant's testimony should indeed not be trusted. But whether the witness's testimony is true or not also needs to be verified. What do you think, Judge Herman? Prosecutor, bring your witness to the court. A few minutes later. Witness, what is your full name and occupation? You can just call me Miss Lee, and my occupation It's it, girl. Witness, in court you need to provide your full name and real occupation. All of my fans in Shanghai call me Miss Lee. Being an it girl is my occupation. I'm not lying to you. It's her. Kirshen, do you know the witness? Her name is Lee Saifu, a writer. She has a column in the newspaper recommending good things. Anything she recommends is guaranteed to be sold out the next day. Is that true? Let me have a look at Miss Lee's column. A stylish nightlife. This cafe in Xing'an may not be deluxe, but it exudes elegant charms. Neon lights, great music, fantastic evening. Planned to stay till 9 but had to leave early. It seems to be a very new style of writing, very different from what you write. Her articles are to package life and show the beauty, while mine aim to expose life and truth. Miss Lee, on the night of September 14th, did you witness the defendant entering the foreign goods store? Sure. Then please tell us about what you saw that evening. On that evening, I was sitting across from the stone foreign goods store, enjoying some café. It was around 7:50 and I saw Mr. Shen walk into the foreign goods store. Wait a minute. Are you sure that person was Mr. Shen? I'm certain. How can you be certain? I have a natural ability to remember good-looking people. I had seen him that afternoon in the stone foreign goods store. I also saw this young man in the defense counsel's seat. Witness, please continue describing what you saw and heard that evening. Mr. Shen stayed inside for about 25 minutes and he came out at around 8:15. When he came out, his face was pale and I wondered what he had experienced inside. After he left, I stayed for a while longer and left the cafe at 8:30. It's about an hour in all. Wait a minute, how come you remember the time so clearly? Because there is a clock across the street. Miss Lee, as a writer, you were busy writing articles while drinking café. You couldn't possibly be focusing on watching all the time, right? My dear, when I'm enjoying café, I don't write anything. I'm just simply admiring the scenery. That evening, there weren't many pedestrians. It was rare to come across someone good looking. I just took a few extra glances. Is it a crime? No, it's not a crime. Miss Lee, if someone wanted to enter the foreign goods store, would they definitely pass by you? Yes, I was sitting directly across from the foreign goods store. Did you see the victim, Stonewu, enter the foreign goods store? No, I didn't. Were there any other people who entered the foreign goods store? No, none at all. Miss Lee is really good at saying things perfectly. By the way, maybe we could talk about this. Foreign goods store in the afternoon, or his expression. Did you see Mr. Shen at the foreign goods store that afternoon? Yes, I heard that the stone foreign goods store got some new products. I wanted to try the new recipe for rose water, but it was sold out. And that's really frustrating. But then I saw Mr. Shen and the defense counsel boy coming in. By the way, maybe we could... Okay. You just mentioned that Mr. Shen didn't look good when he came out. Can you explain in detail? Well, his face is so pale, like a white sheet of paper. There was no trace of color at all. And, you know, he was walking unsteadily, even holding his head with a very pained expression. Miss Lee, I'm curious. Why did you leave the cafe early after Mr. Shen left the foreign goods store? Oh, what kind of question is that? I left the cafe simply because. I finished my cafe. The defense counsel must not ask questions arbitrarily. I'm not asking arbitrarily. Everyone, please take a look at this. A stylish nightlife, this cafe in Jing'an may not be deluxe, but it exudes elegant charms. Rainbow lights, great music, fantastic evening. Planned to stay till 9, but had to leave early. Miss Lee, this is the column you published in the newspaper the next day. It's about what happened at the cafe on the night of the case, right? Yes. You mentioned that you had something else to do, and that's why you left early. What was it? Oh, it's not a secret. I heard the commotion from the other side of the road, and out of curiosity I went to see it. I didn't expect it to be police arresting someone, and it was Mr. Shen who got arrested. Did you leave early just because you heard the commotion? Yes, when I was enjoying cafe it was quiet around. Once it got noisy, the ambience was ruined. Where did you go after you left? While watching the commotion, I met reporter Cheng. He asked me for an interview. So we went to a bar and chatted for over an hour. Oh, by the way, Cheng mentioned you to me. Koshin, I feel there's something unnatural in Miss Lee's testimony. Tell me more about it? I can't pinpoint it right now, but I remember that. In such a case, Shen would compare the testimony with the evidence, finding any contradictions. Let's try this method then. She was sitting across from the stone foreign goods store enjoying her cafe. 7:50 she saw Shen entering the foreign goods store. Stayed inside for around 25 minutes and came out around 8:15. When he came out, his face was quite pale. It's quiet around until the commotion. During that time, no one else entered or exited the foreign goods store. What do I have to present evidence? That's probably not it. Magic performance. Maybe this is the part that's a bit suspicious, that it was quiet around, despite the fact that there was a magic performance happening at the theater. It wouldn't have been quiet around at all. Miss Lee, have you heard the sound of the magic show ending? Not only did I hear it, but I also saw it. That happened after Mr. Shen was arrested. I didn't mean the ending of it. I meant the commotion and the noise, but sure. What else do we have? I don't think that's important right now. I'm not sure what the game wants. If the crime occurred while Lee was sitting and drinking cafe, she would have noticed something. What would she have noticed? I thought she would have noticed the magic performance. but... Oh, the shot! She would have heard the shot, surely. Yeah. Miss Lee, during the time you were enjoying your cafe, did you hear any strange sounds? What kind of sounds do you consider strange? Sounds that would disturb an it girl's quiet enjoyment of her cafe. I object. This is inductive questioning. I object to your objection. Arthur was simply answering the witness's question. Oh well, even though I don't quite understand what inducive questioning is. So wait, which is it? Did I read it wrong earlier? Inducive. Ah, questioning where the questioner uses suggestive queries to narrow down or manipulate the respondent's answers. I don't see anything inappropriate about the defense counsel's statement. I think the defense counsel's question was quite interesting. But it's a pity that I haven't heard such a voice. During that 1 hour of cafe drinking, the surroundings were so quiet. Huh, that's exactly where the contradiction lies. Huh? Mr. Joseph said that Stonewood was shot and killed between 8 and 8:30. Since you could hear the noise from the distant street at that time, it is impossible for you not to hear the gunshot from the opposite side. Miss Lee, can you explain what happened? There really was no sound of a gunshot. Your Honor, if the witness is telling the truth, it means that during the time Mr. Shen entered the crime scene, there was no shooting. Therefore, he couldn't be the murderer. Judge Kwan, is it possible to consider declaring Shen innocent now? No. Miss Wen, Afu, your reasoning has impressed us to such an extent, but unfortunately... Fingerprints, firearms, bullets, the body, and the crime scene form a full chain of evidence. And they all point to the defendant. In this situation, we should not question whether the defendant is the murderer. Instead, we should consider, how did the murderer manage to cover the sound of the gunshot? What methods are there to cover the sound of a pistol? Miss Lee, when you were enjoying cafe, did you hear any bell ringing? Bell ringing? Yes, there's a clock tower across the street. At 8 o'clock the clock rang many times loudly. You're accustomed to it, so you don't find the bell ringing noisy. It seems like it. The pedestrians around are the same. So as long as the murderer shoots when the bell rings, it won't attract attention from outsiders. Therefore, Miss Lee not noticing the gunshot doesn't mean that the defendant didn't fire the gun. I love his bowing to the court every time. It's so preposterous. The chain of evidence proving the defendant's murder has been closed. Indeed, Prosecutor Bell lives up to his reputation. The defense counsel cannot find new doubts. The case can be concluded. What should I say next, Koshin? The opponent is too powerful. What? What should we do? This is the final judgment. Our performance in the debate should have given us some room to maneuver in the court. At this point, we can only try everything we can, resort to some disruptive tactics. Even if we ultimately lose, we will fight until the very end. Kurshin, how should we go about these disruptive tactics? We should present any viewpoint or evidence that is advantageous to us. Is this advantageous to us? This could be advantageous to us. I mean, this is... I'm just curious on what they're gonna say. What is the connection between this person and the case? Okay. Right, they don't even say anything. They're like, what is this? I can even go for characters? Okay, there's a lost cat. He got scared by a strange noise. I kind of just want to see what happens. Okay, never mind. Okay, let me see a hint. I'm not really sure. A profession can indirectly confirm certain details. So we want a person. But I don't know who. Any viewpoint or evidence that is advantageous to us. And a profession can indirectly confirm certain details. She's a magician. She did it. I have no idea. You know what? I'm curious. Mr. Joseph, you understand Shen and know that he is innocent, right? I only believe in evidence. Evidence can either convict or clear a person's innocence. If you really want to clear the defendant's suspicion, you'd focus on every piece of evidence. Alright. We should present any viewpoint or evidence that is advantageous. I mean, having Shen talk himself is probably not it, but talking about like ourselves. You know what? Let's give it a try. Actually, everything was done by me. The reason why Shen looked pale was that he saw me as the murderer, so he panicked and left. The reason he went to the Lyceum Theatre was also to help me dispose of the gun. Let Shen go and arrest me instead. The police has already investigated and confirmed that you were at the hotel that evening. Councillor Xu Fuxing, you are contemptuous of the court and should be punished accordingly. Yes. Ow. It seems that the two defense counsels are unable to identify any issues. What's your opinion, Judge Herman? Continuing on will only be a waste of time. Judge Kwan, please make a decision. I believe that the defendant is guilty. Please bring the defendant to the court. Is it going to end like this? Afu, we've done our best. There is no need to be too upset. Your evidence is limited. It's not easy to have come this far. After the verdict, it's the sentencing. I'll help John fight for using British law for judgment. No need. The settlement is a part of the King's territory, and since I have been found guilty, why shall I be judged according to foreign laws? Compared to the King law, the sentence will be much lighter under British law. I am willing to accept punishment according to the King law. Alright, that's settled. I believe Judge Herman has no objections. Court adjourned. Shen, Afu, no need to blame yourself. You've done your best. Alright, well. I have done my best. I wonder how many people... 4%! Only 4% of players got that achievement. That's funny. Okay. Who else then? What about this? The autopsy results showed that Stoneway was first hit in the head. But Shen neither had the strength nor carried any weapon that could knock him unconscious. Well, indeed, the police did not find any weapon that could knock one unconscious at the scene. But this doesn't affect the conclusion, as the head injury of the victim was not a fatal wound. While the defense counsel doesn't need to dwell on this, it's better to think from other angles. What about this? What is she gonna say? Koshin has worked with Johan with John before, and she's willing to stand in court to defend him. This is enough to demonstrate that Shen's character is recognized. Absurd. This cannot be considered as evidence. Okay. I'm just trying things at this point. Okay. Honestly, I'll just let the game tell me then. I have no idea what it wants. News of the Hanyang case or Shen Chungping. But I have... Wait, have I? Did I not? I thought for sure that I already did. Never mind then. Judge Kwan, the defense counsel still has something to say. My client, Mr. Shen Chungping, is a very talented detective. He has solved many cases, including the well-known case in Hanyang Ironworks. My client found the truth based on subtle clues at the crime scene in the absence of a dead body. Yes, and he cracked the case within 1 day. That's why the defendant's name looked so familiar. So it's the detective who solved the Ironworks case. How could such a reputable detective end up committing murder? Judge, Shen is a gentle and righteous person. He would never commit murder. I do feel something illogical here. Judge Kwan, in the Qing dynasty, judges often judge by their feelings. It is indeed incorrect. The defendant's profession should not change the determination of their criminal acts. We should rely on evidence and logical reasoning. Counsel, please explain. Is there any connection between the Hanyang case and this murder case? What? The connection is, it is The connection is, of course, Mr. Shen. Think about it. Mr. Shen was able to solve the difficult case in Hanyang, which means he's a smart detective. It's implausible a smart detective like Mr. Shen would be easily caught if he committed murder. Right, there is indeed a doubt. Everyone, there is a major doubt here. Mr. Shen was arrested because he was seen in the theater carrying a pistol. Mr. Shen was arrested at 8:30 in the evening, just a few minutes after he left the scene. And according to Mr. Joseph's claim, Mr. Shen used the sound of the clock to cover the gunshot. Isn't it contradictory that Mr. Shen, as Mr. Joseph claims, differs from the one arrested? If Mr. Shen really used a gun to commit the murder, why would he expose it before a large crowd? He may have thought of covering the gunshot sound, but didn't think of hiding the gun itself. Koshin. Order, order. Defense counsel, your perspective is quite interesting. Please continue. Sure. The victim's body was found by a female store assistant the next morning after the crime. Only after the store assistant found the body did the police receive the report. Yet they were able to arrest Mr. Shen in advance as if they had foreknowledge. The timing of the murder and Mr. Shen's arrest almost seamlessly align. Isn't that too coincidental? Unless someone deliberately framed Mr. Shen. Mr. Joseph, can you respond to these doubts? Your Honor, Mr. Shen's arrest at the theater was not purely coincidental. At that time, the gun was not completely exposed either. So, can you present evidence regarding the process of Mr. Shen's arrest for cross-examination? The murder weapon and the bullets, also the crime scene. I want to investigate everything. These requests are reasonable and we will cooperate. As the prosecutor, I also hope that this case can be thoroughly investigated, leaving no doubt. But the actions of the police at the theater on the night of the crime involved another case. That case is classified and it will take some time to retrieve the case files. Should we reschedule the trial then? I announce a temporary suspension of the trial of Shen Chungping, accused of murdering Stonewu. The trial will resume in 2 days. And there we go. We made it through the trial, part 1. Your performance in the courtroom was impressive. Luckily. My heart was in my throat when the judge made the final statement. No matter what, we managed to seize the opportunity to examine the evidence and revisit the scene. As long as we can find a new breakthrough, there is still a chance of winning in the next trial. You've gone to all this trouble for me. Let's save your appreciation till we win the next trial. However, speaking of which... Mr. Shen, did you really not see anyone during your 20-minute stay at the foreign goods store? No. Then it's strange indeed. The police has confirmed Stonewu was indeed shot and killed in the study of the store. Miss Lee, sitting across from the store, didn't see anyone else entering except you. If Stonewu was neither inside the store nor ever went in, then... could it be possible for a body to appear at the crime scene out of thin air? The layout of the store is clear, with 2 rooms, one for business, the other for bookkeeping. At that time, both rooms were empty with no one inside. Then how did the body appear as soon as Shen left? This is indeed very strange. Afu, we need to go to the crime scene and search it thoroughly. I'm sorry, the visiting time is over. I must take Mr. Shen back now. Afu, do you have any instructions, Shen? There could be obstacles and dangers on the path of your investigation. Take care of yourself. No problem. Chen, remember to eat on time. Take care and be sure to hold on until the next trial. Okay. Right, and with that, we will end this week's episode. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I hope I'll see you again next week. Until then, bye bye.